says you can be as liberal or as conservative as you want to be. Just don't force others to be like you.
Got it.
That's what we are all about. We are all about long-term solutions, not short-term solutions. We're all about changing culture, not just changing law. Law, we have to remember something. At the end of almost every single law is a guy or a gal with a gun who will put you in a cage. And if you don't want to go in that cage, he or she is going to kill you. That means you only use law when it really matters, not just because I'm angry, not because I don't like you, not because you should do some activity I think you shouldn't do, or whatever the case may be. It's only for important things like life and liberty and property and things like that. That's when you use violence. That's when you use force. That's what libertarians are all about. Welcome to Libertarians Drinking Coffee Live. Yes, it is 3 p.m. Eastern, and we are here again chatting with people who are running throughout the entire country. Yes, I have coffee, the brand is strong. So I know a lot of people are always thinking, oh my God, Larry, it's the presidential election year. This is critical, and it is. And on top of that, so are all the local people running across this country trying to make impact in the local communities. All of this is important. Top of the ticket, bottom of the ticket, and everything in between. We are running all over this country, and if you care about that, then do me a favor, like, comment, share, let people know that we are here, that we are out here, and we are trying to make things happen, trying to get people to care about our message. I am very lucky today to have someone, a very special gentleman running in Connecticut for State House, the man himself, Richard Cordero. How are you, sir?
Thank you. I'm doing great. Thank you.
Good. So I know you're here. You're rocking and rolling. You are a guy out there trying to make his way. You do a lot of freelance work. You do a lot of work here or there. You're trying to hustle to pay your bills, to get stuff going. You work in different fields. I love that. It is the idea of being a libertarian. I love it. Why run? And why run now? And why run for state rep?
Well, initially, it was part of a bigger plan because here in city council at the local district, you can actually hold the council seat and the state rep seat simultaneously. So okay. I ran last year in the municipal election for the council seat, and which ended up being a three-way race because I came in a little late because the dates for deadlines between third party and major party are a little different.
Oh, that's how Connecticut runs.
So when I had made the announcement, it was a week before the Republicans could before they could send their endorsements in. So I didn't get that endorsement, and it ended up being a three-way race between me and the Republican and the Democrat.
Got it.
So initially I wanted to win the seat and get the ground running for the next election for the state rep spot.
So that was the whole goal, was to get the state rep anyway. That was your whole goal. I'm losing you.
Yeah, that was part of the goal of the state rep spot. Oh, the connection. How's that?
Oh, now I hear you. Okay, keep going. All right, Richard, I'm going to ask you to do something real fast. Get out and come back in. Get out, come back in.
Okay.
Best way. Guys, I'm going to talk a bit while he's doing that. All right.
So you got a clear connection now?
Oh, no. Why don't you leave this and come back in? There we go. Now we're rocking and rolling. He heard me finally. So hopefully that'll get better. The advantage that someone like Richard has in Connecticut is him having those connections at the local level give him the better chance of actually winning, right? Because he knows people locally. But not just that. He does a lot of business in other areas. He does business in dog grooming. He does business in entertainment. He does business in lots of different arenas, which means he has local community activists who want to be part of him. He has little community groups that will want to be part of his world. This is an advantage, and why I talk so often about supporting the local candidates, right? Top of the ticket absolutely matters. I'm happy we have Joe Jorgensen top of the ticket. All totally matters. Absolutely. And we've got to use that as a way of bringing press and some notoriety or some popularity, depends on how you look at it, with all the down ticket. They all matter. And that's what I want us to be able to do. Are you there, my friend?
Yes. How's that?
There we go. Better. Now we're rocking and roll. I was talking about how you're doing so many things in your community that it allows multiple people to want to be party because they know who you are. The strength of a local candidate over, while I love the top of the ticket, but the local candidate is very important.
Yeah, definitely, especially in America when it's about 45% of Americans don't know what a libertarian is. Simply, that's it. And then when you actually start talking to people and you explain, this and that, and they're like, wow, I can really get with that, because it's the way we've been going, for the last X amount of years. It's not working. Right. It's clearly not working. Yep. People are frustrated.
And I think the funniest thing is if you do it right, when I talk to people, if I do it right, the person who's either a Democrat or Republican always thinks that I'm what they are, right? If they're a Democrat, they think I'm a Democrat. If they're Republican, they think I'm Republican. If I'm doing it right, they always think that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's what I always say is you're a true libertarian when half the time the Republicans love you and half the time they hate you.
Yes, exactly.
And then half the time the Democrats love you and half the time they hate you.
Yes, absolutely.
It's the funniest thing in the world.
So let me ask you then. You've got, I'm sure on a local level, there's tons of issues and concerns that, the people you support have, the people that, you're running to represent have. Are there a couple of issues that kind of rise to the top for you? 1, 2, or 3 of them that are at the top of your list?
It reverberates even at the national level. Like, everybody's concerned with criminal justice reform.
Yep.
I was doing a check on the numbers here. We have about 10,455 people that are incarcerated in Connecticut.
Okay.
And about, I would say, 7,000 of them, 7,418 of them are Hispanic or Black.
Wow.
And that's 70% of those numbers.
Wow.
And when it reverberates to the population, we only make up 26% of the CT population, but we're 70% of the inmates.
Wow. Yeah, that's a big deal. Absolutely. Wow. But,
yeah, so
but 10,000, New York State's got like 50 or 60,000.
And we know the war on
So I guess what you're saying here is the war on drugs is affecting you obviously in Connecticut, right?
It's nowhere.
Richard, I got to tell you, you're breaking up again. Is it me or is it you?
Yep. It's one of those underlying things people don't really see unless, I just started digging into numbers. Yes, I've read those numbers.
I'm trying to see.
I'm not sure because I have full connection here.
Maybe it's me. All right, I don't know. People are breaking up.
My internet access says it's at full bars here.
All right, so let me ask, if you're watching, which one of us is breaking up? Am I breaking up or is he breaking up? If you tell me who's breaking up, then we can know who might want to pop back in again. Because maybe I should just pop back in again. And no one's saying anything. They don't love me anymore. All right, nobody loves me anymore. I'm asking you, my people to tell me they don't love me. All right, fine. Well, just keep talking then. I hope it'll just get better. That's it. So let me keep moving then. The criminal justice clearly is one of your number one. So it's you. Can you turn off your video for a minute? All right, now can you talk? Can you hear me now?
Turn off the video.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
All right. So let's try with this.
You can hear me?
Yeah, let's try this for a few minutes and see. It seems like you're lagging.
Yeah,
So
I can hear you. Yeah.
Try for a bit. All right. So let me go back. You did criminal justice, which is
I hear
great.
you.
What is your next issue that you need?
Mm-hmm. Connecticut is definitely heavily taxed.
Tax.
We have taxes for just about everything here. So definitely no more taxes, and we have a deficit that definitely needs to get in control.
But now there's going to be an issue, right? The second you talk about cutting taxes, guaranteed someone's going to say, wait a minute, you can't cut taxes because if you cut taxes...
I'm sorry that's breaking up so much.
If you cut taxes, then what's going to happen is, how are we going to pay for the roads, right? How are we going to pay for all this stuff, right? So that's always going to be an attack that someone gives you. What is your response to that, which you know they're going to say?
Well, that's the beautiful thing here in Connecticut. There's a lot of regulation and red tape. So when you start to cut that red tape, you start to attract businesses, which expands your tax base, and then creates more revenue for the state. And also, we want to explore things like sports betting, legalizing recreational marijuana, and exploring these routes to generate revenues would help us out, rather than this whole robbing Peter to pay Paul type of system. And that's what people do. They always try to rob Peter to pay Paul, rather than exploring more ways to generate revenue.
Yeah, you know, what's funny is you brought up, I like the concept, right? When you want to lower taxes or remove taxes, most of us, and the sad part, which drives me crazy, is most of the attorneys just go, it's wrong, so end it. But the average American doesn't want to hear. The average American wants to say, well, then how do you deal with that? And I like what you're saying. You're saying, I want you to increase commerce so we can reduce taxes, or the reverse, reduce taxes so we can increase commerce. And either way, you're beginning to come up with the same way of, here's how we repair the issue or fix things. I love that idea. The problem is so many libertarians just go to the cut taxing piece and don't go to the either, right? If you cut taxes and you remove government, there are two different ways of dealing with it. The first one is remove government and encourage community to step in. Or the other one is remove government, remove taxes, and encourage commerce to step in, which also winds up increasing community anyway. I love those ideas. I'm glad that's what you're talking about. I love that. So what's number 3?
Definitely infrastructure.
Okay.
Connecticut definitely has an infrastructure that. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Because with infrastructure, basically, if you just let it go, it ends up being more expensive in the long run.
Mm-hmm.
So if we find more effective ways to tackle infrastructure now, it becomes more affordable down the line, and saving money overall.
So then how do you deal with, obviously, the expense of more infrastructure, right? Everybody wants more infrastructure. What you're hearing most governors talk about now is the federal government has to give me money so I can do infrastructure. That's the most common thing that governors are doing. If you're a state rep, you're going to have that budget and decide, where does that money come from? Is it through more taxes? Is it through the federal government? Is it through whatever, right? How do we get the money, whatever, in any way you decide? How do we get that money to rebuild the roads and rebuild the bridges and the rail and all the infrastructure that's required?
Yeah, it's tough because it's one of those things that it's right there, and you kind of you don't have so much X amount of time to think about it, you know? So like the commerce thing, it's like really focused on getting businesses and commerce inside your state so you can start generating these extra revenues that you have at your expense to help with all these other projects.
So does that mean, if I hear what you're saying right, I feel like you're saying you would rather shift the tax burden away from, say, a property tax or an income tax, and instead shift that tax burden instead onto, say, a consumption tax or a sales tax? Is that what I'm hearing?
No. What I was saying is basically the state creating a business friendly and commerce friendly environment so that we increase the business in the state, which increases tax revenue generated through the businesses, creating more revenue at the hand of the state for said infrastructure.
Oh, so you actually don't want to necessarily raise the taxes. You just think that if we have more commerce, by default, we'll gain more money and there'll be no need to raise the taxes. So you can just lower property tax and other taxes, and the regular tax will get. I get it. That makes sense. Okay, I love that idea. So let me ask you: you got some 3 cool ideas, 3 cool issues. Do you have a slogan or something cool that people can use, like a Build That Wall or Medicaid for All or something like that that people can get behind?
There's a couple of things. I don't have like an initial slogan per se, but you know, there's a couple of things I always say, which is pretty basic, with less of the same, more change. And then I like peace, prosperity, and freedom.
I like that. Less of the same, more change. That's awesome. I love that one. That's a good one. Maybe that should be a hashtag or something. I like that idea. But there's there's another issue, and Nicholas brings this up. It's the idea of people believing they only have 3 choices, which is Democrat, Republican, or stay home. Most people think that's all they actually have. How do we change that, being a libertarian, right? How do we make that shift or adjust that out of that mindset of I got left, right, or stay home? What are we going to do?
That's exactly what I was talking about before, about 45% of Americans simply not understanding what libertarianism is.
Mm-hmm.
Look, I'm very young in the libertarian game. I've been 2 years now. And, you know, I got real gun-ho, went and ran for office and everything when I found out about it. We need people to be active. It's important that the people that are in the party to be active so that people in their circles see that option is there, and then entice them to be active and get on the whole libertarian thing. Because simply you just need to get it in people's faces. If we can get it in their face, people are going to eat it up all day.
I like it. So let me ask you 2 big things that happened this year. There were many of them, but I want to cover the 2 biggest ones. The first one is the COVID crisis, right? I mean, oh my God, how it affected the entire country, all different parts in different ways, but it affected the entire country. Do you have an opinion, you know, in either way on the response, the government response to COVID?
Well, the response was basically they were listening to Fauci and his team, and then you had the WHO saying this. It was handled horribly. Any statement they released, I'm getting the sense that a lot of people I've talked to, they're like, I don't even know what to do, because one day they say masks work, the next day masks don't work. One day they say the virus lasts 10 hours on the surface, the next day they say it doesn't. It's like it's this big confusion and fear that people have had, and it has crippled the economy.
Absolutely.
Based on the opinions of a few.
All right, I get it. Is there anything?
We created this whole.
So let me move then, if I could.
No, I was just gonna say, and they just created.
I'm sorry, Richard. Go ahead. No, go finish up. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I apologize. Finish up.
No, it's the lag. I get it, but they created an economic crisis.
It's a self-inflicted wound. That's exactly what it is. A self-inflicted wound. I agree. So let me now move, if I could, to the other big thing that happened, obviously, which is more recent, which is George Floyd. I know you spoke recently about, just a couple minutes ago, about the criminal justice reform. What's your view on the George Floyd, I guess, fallout and everything around it?
It was tragic. It was upsetting to see that type of neglect for life. And, the officers involved in the situation, hopefully get prosecuted accordingly. And it wasn't right. But what is happening with America is that, as you can see, the media takes on a life of its own and is utilizing this to draw this dividing line right before election time, which always happens, and people jump to their corners immediately because that's where they feel comfortable. And that's the thing that's sad, is you want something to bring people together, but then the society and the media does the opposite.
Yes. You brought up a very interesting point that a lot of people don't bring up. And that is, you just brought up that the media actually makes it worse in many ways, right? In that it actually assists in dividing us instead of trying to unite us. It actually assists in sensationalizing it. It helps in making things worse in many ways, not just educating us like in theory what the media should do, but instead almost inciting us to jump on a side, right? One side or the other.
And exactly, and you should be okay to be in kind of that middle foreground, which where a lot of libertarians do fall.
So,
but then the media just takes on a life of its own. Yep.
So with that in mind, I mean, right alongside of that, the media is helping to create fear, right? If you look at CNN, they still got a body count of how many people have died of COVID, or now they keep showing, police violence. So there's a lot of fear that they're stoking, but not just them. The average American is also afraid of different things. Oh, Trump is going to destroy us if he wins. Biden's going to destroy us if he wins. The socialists are going to destroy us. Antifa's going to destroy us. The alt-right's going to destroy us. Everybody's going to kill us and destroy us. The Chinese are after us. COVID's going to kill us. There's lots of fear out there. Richard, how do we as libertarians kind of get around that fear and get people to make good decisions? Because you and I both know that when people are afraid, they make bad decisions, and we want to try to avoid that. How do we as libertarians, or even you specifically, or generically, you tell me, how do we handle that?
It's tough, because as libertarians, we don't have the most massive platform, but what we really need to do is just to counteract it with the facts, like we always do. And hit them with the hard truths. Like, when something makes you feel fear, you always need to double down and double check on why that makes you feel that way. Because there's usually something nefarious behind that action that the media tries to use against you.
That's really hard to do, man. I'm with you. I'm agreeing. It's hard because we get afraid too, right? I mean, we're still just humans. So, we start watching TV, we start getting afraid, right? Oh my God, now we're afraid too. And it is hard to do. But I think one thing we also have to do, I'm with you, but I think we have to also, as a party or as a movement, I think we have to have some unity of purpose, and also in many ways, a unity of principle and or unity of message in many ways when this comes up, right? We do want to have a lot of us saying what you're saying, which is we can show some facts, we can still move forward, we can find a middle ground. It doesn't have to be left or right. I think that's, if we're all saying, the more times we say it, I think the better chance people actually will hear it.
Yeah, not left, not right, just free.
There we go. I love it. Not left, not right, just free. So look, I know you want to win this thing. You were running for another office last year. You're trying to run. I love it, and I hope you win. If you don't win, do you have a secondary win? Like when I ran for governor of New York, it was very easy for me. If I lose the election, I still get ballot access. Amazing consolation prize. How about you? Do you have a way of measuring a win if you don't actually win the election?
Well, I take it from David F. Nolan, the founder of the Libertarian Party. Even regardless of the win or not, anytime Libertarian is mentioned, it's a win for me. And at the state level, I'm going to be having media coverage locally and at the state level. And it's just going to be an all-around good experience and also a good platform to get libertarianism out there in general. So I see it as a win regardless.
Will you be able to get on the Connecticut Face the State? Will you be able to get on that?
Possibly. I'm not sure.
I was on there representing Gary
but
Johnson.
What I'm really focusing on. Oh, okay. What I'm focusing on is fundraising, because as most people know, I did get a Republican endorsement for this 84th district House seat, which I'm running for right now. The third party, I wasn't eligible for funds, but with the Republican endorsement, I believe once I raise X amount of money, I become eligible for funds for the campaign through the state.
How much do you have to raise?
Yeah. $5,000.
All right, guys, if you want to help out Richard, head over to his Facebook page. You see it at the bottom of the screen. It's Richard Cordero LP. That is his Facebook. That's his at Facebook. Please feel free to go there. I believe it's Richard Cordero for State Rep is the actual name of the page. So if you want to head over there, click on that. Yep. Can they get to your can they get to a place to donate from there?
I'm actually I was working on the website today. I'm putting together I already have the bio, the platform, and I'm trying to get it's set up so I can take donations through the website.
All right, so here's the next
my
thing
page, I'm going to be posting.
He needs something else. He needs people to be social media warriors for him because he should be doing his own website. So for those of you who know how to do websites, reach out to him. Say you can help him with his website. Say you can help him with his social media. He could use it. We need this. And a lot of you out there, I know, you don't have a lot of cash right now. COVID has trashed our economy. I get it. I know. I feel it. A lot of us feel it. No worries. What we can do is if we can't give money, we can give time. And that's what matters. We can give time. Richard could use someone like you who could give up an hour or 2 hours a week to get online and to do some commenting, do some sharing, post some stuff for him, help him with his website. That could work. Put some stuff on Instagram. If you got an Instagram, do some TikTok videos, whatever you got, he could use all of those things too. So if you don't have the cash you can give right now, I get it. But if you live in Connecticut and you want change in Connecticut, please go over to Richard Cordero, help him out, give him whatever you can give, even if it's just a half hour a week. He'll take it happily, whatever you can do.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, Richard. I want to say thank you so much for coming out today. I'm sorry we couldn't get good video. We couldn't get a good connection. We'll have to do it again and to make up. But thank you again for coming out. I hope that everyone will help you out and you'll be able to move forward. Let's keep in touch.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely we'll stay in touch. We're right next door to each other for states in the tri-state area. We definitely got to stay in touch and do regional meetings, and get together.
100%. I'm in. We should do one big fundraiser. See that? I'm already thinking.
Yeah, I got some people out in the city too, so it's exciting.
I love it. All right, my friend. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.